Drive a right-winger crazy. Help build a home of progressives by becoming a TYT member. Click the link in the description box below.
Ethiopia has elected its first female president. Her name is Sahle-Work Zewde. Here she is, she's fantastic. Not only is she now the only current female head of state in Africa, because Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is no longer the president. Her term was until this year. It's a ceremonial position largely, but it's still very important. And let's just take a look at her resume going into this job. Sahle-Work has worked in various United Nations organs and was the first Director General of the UN office in Nairobi until recently. She was the UN Secretary General's Special Representative to the African Union. She's fantastic. It was a unanimous vote, and the prime minister of the country tweeted out this: in a patriarchal society such as ours, the appointment of a female head of state not only sets the standard for the future, but also normalizes women as decision makers in public life. So you heard about this. How important is this? What do you think?
Doesn't that sound like a statement that should be coming from one of our senators or congressmen?
They beat us. How did they do that?
You know that things are bad for the US when we gotta take our lead from an African country. You know that we are not walking down the right path.
Yeah, they said that there's still a lot of issues in that country where they said, I kind of took some notes about it. It was that women are disadvantaged in the following categories in Ethiopia: literacy, health, basic human rights. They still have a female genital mutilation problem.
Yeah.
But is it kind of like a see it, you can be it kind of thing? What do you think?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how ceremonial she is, if she just gets to walk out, do a prance or whatever, and then. But hopefully she has some power and some influence, and they'll let her exert that. What I don't like is when people get put in a position of power and they can't really, they're just a figurehead. I hope it lasts, and I hope she can make some really big changes.
Like, you mean it's just for optics, you mean?
Yeah, because I feel like being like doing female is like hot right now, you know what I mean? I hope they're not just trying to jump on a trend, like, you know, acid wash jeans being back or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. So after the female president, there'll be an acid wash jeans president, and that's how it'll work out.
But I'm a natural pessimist, so when I see something like this, I'm always like,
so touching.
It's terrible. It's an awful way to live. But I always see something like this and I think, oh, this is fantastic. Let's see how it plays out in reality.
Right. I mean, I feel like, you know, even when you have a female president like such as this, you know, in an African nation, I feel like there's also a lot of politics that she has to deal with, and there's, you know, the society is predominantly patriarchal. I mean, she has to cut through so much red tape to just even get to a point where they can help pass laws to be like, all right, let's not have FGM anymore. Let's have equality for women. Let's not have, you know, let's get great jobs for women, gender equality. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's some big shoes to fill.
FGM is illegal in the country. They say they still have issues with it, and it's god awful. I will say that they also took another step a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They have a gender balanced cabinet as well. So the prime minister said that, and Rwanda a couple days later actually followed suit, and so it's kind of like catching, I guess.
Not to be outdone by Ethiopia. Listen, Ethiopia, we got you. Rwanda.
It's gonna do a we regret to inform you joke. That's very insensitive.
Right.
Have you heard the term glass cliff?
No, what's that?
So the glass cliff is essentially where, and this is another, not to be a downer, but this is another thing of when you have a woman in charge for the first time, oftentimes they'll do this thing where they're like, oh, things are really bad, let's put a woman in charge, let's see how she can do. And she's got so many obstacles that she can't really be successful, and so then they remove her, and then they go, that's why we don't have women in charge.
Oh, boo.
So I hope it's not that situation too. I hope it's truly people rallying behind her. Her support system's gonna make a big difference on how successful she is, and really the men who support her in this role.
Well, some of the men have been speaking out. Here is the Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, who spoke about the gender equal cabinet in Rwanda. He said a high number of women in decision-making roles have led to a decrease in gender discrimination and gender-based crimes. Wow. And when it comes to these kind of, even if it's ceremonial, I think it's just so important to just be like, here's what it looks like, get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, we have to give peace a chance, and I think, you know, who better to put in charge and to give peace a chance than the people who give life, which is women.
Yes.
Well put. Put that on a t-shirt.
On the go? Don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.